guys, in this book review I'm going to be talking about the Shadowhunter Chronicles by Cassandra Clare. So before I totally get going with my thoughts and opinions on the Shadowhunter Chronicles, first of all, there will be absolutely no spoilers in this video. And for another thing, I know that there are already millions and millions of book reviews out there talking about the Mortal Instruments or the Infernal Devices. So yeah, my thoughts and opinions are probably nothing unique, new, interesting, but still, this is just for me a personal video, a video chronicle for if I ever watch this in the future, so I can listen back to my own thoughts on this series. So I'm just gonna give a very general quick synopsis of each of the things I'm talking about so you guys know what exactly I'm reviewing in this review. Starting off with the Mortal Instruments series, this is a grand total of 6 books. And these follow Clary Frey, who one day, all of a sudden, she is thrown into the world of the Shadowhunters. And the Shadowhunters are basically part human, part angel. That's kind of where they come from. And what the Shadowhunters do, they basically fight the forces of evil. They fight demons and werewolves and vampires, fairies, all that good stuff. And so yeah, Clary is kind of thrown into this world and starts discovering things about her own past that she didn't know of. And she meets all these wildly crazy characters like Jace and Alec and Isabel Lightwood and Magnus Bane, and along for this whole ride is her best friend Simon. Next is the Infernal Devices series, which is only 3 books, and this is basically a prequel series to the Mortal Instruments, and this takes place in about the late 1800s, and it follows Tessa Gray, who has received a note from her brother to come to London, England. But once she arrives in England, she is immediately captured by these mysterious women and forced to do some things that she didn't know she was capable of doing. And as the story continues, Tessa finds herself, very much like Clary in the Mortal Instruments, thrown into the shadow world where she meets the Shadowhunters, and she starts to form some attachments, you may say, to the very sexy Will Herondale and Jim Carstairs. And then the other books that I have here in my collection, I have the Bane Chronicles, which is a series of short stories focused on the warlock Magnus Bane, who appears in both the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices series. And also the Shadowhunters Codex, which is a companion series to all of these books, and basically like the textbook that the Shadowhunters use. So yeah, like I said, a very quick general synopsis of all of these books. So my overall thoughts and feelings on these books, I guess it's obvious. I really like this series. If I didn't like this series, obviously I wouldn't have all of these books down here at my feet. Let's get this out of the way. The Mortal Instruments, it's not a perfect series. It does have its flaws. I think you can tell that Cassandra Clare, you know, she has kind of that newbie style of writing to the series at the beginning. But me personally, I think that Cassandra Clare, she really develops her writing over the course of the series, especially once you get to the Infernal Devices. I think you can see a new type of maturity in her writing that you don't see in the Mortal Instruments. I really adore these books. They're just fun for me. That's the thing. They're fun and pure entertainment value. I have never taken these books seriously. You know, I know that they're young adult. I know that they have their cheesy moments. I know that they have these crazy love triangles that get so ridiculous that you kind of roll your eyes as you're reading. But still, at the end of the day, like I just said, these books are just pure entertainment value to me. They're a nice getaway from the more heavy, dark books that I tend to read. And one of the primary reasons why I love the Shadowhunters Chronicles, all of these books, it's mostly because of all these characters. For the most part, I love all of these characters, including the villains. Just such a unique set of characters. They all have their quirks, their flaws, their various different types of personalities that you can immediately tell whose personality is what on the page without there being an indicator of who's saying what. And just something else that I appreciate about the Shadowhunter Chronicles is the humor. You know, the series definitely takes some dark routes as the series progresses, but for the most part, I think what's really special about the series is its unique humor. It's a humor that appeals to me personally. And at the end of the day, the whole of the Shadowhunters Chronicles, it's about love and friendship and family, and yeah, just really great themes, I think. Themes that I think young people, or just anybody of any age really, can latch onto and connect with. And yeah, those themes are just what really make this series by the time you reach the last page of every book. So a big question that I always see in comments when talking about the Shadowhunter Chronicles is the reading order. How the hell do you read these books? So I'm just going to give you guys a quick rundown of how I read the books and what I think is the easiest way to read them. First of all, I definitely think it's best to start with the original 3 books. I don't think it's best to start with the prequel series, the Infernal Devices. Even though that's how I started, when I first got into the Shadowhunters world, I initially actually picked up Clockwork Angel, not knowing that it was the prequel book to the Mortal Instruments. But that being said, I mean, I still read that book and I wasn't too confused, but there were still a lot of elements that I was confused. So yeah, when I went back through and I did a reread of this entire world, I did a reread back in like November and December, and so yeah, this is the manner in which I read them. So yeah, I definitely think it's best to start with the first 3 books, those being City of Bones, City of Ashes, and then City of Glass. And then even though there's 3 more books that are part of the Mortal Instruments, I don't think you should head into those books next. I think after the first 3 Mortal Instruments, you definitely need to go into the Infernal Devices, those being Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. So then after the Infernal Devices, I think it's best to then go into the last 3 Mortal Instruments, those being City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire. And the reason that I think you need to split up the Mortal Instruments in this fashion, you know, 3 and 3 with Infernal Devices in the middle, you can easily get spoiled. If you read all 6 Mortal Instruments, there's a good chance you're going to be spoiled about plot elements that happen in the Infernal Devices. And then that leaves the Bane Chronicles. I would definitely just read this after you read Mortal Instruments and Infernal Devices. That way, just any little spoilers that pop up, you won't be too lost or confused. I do highly recommend picking up the Bane Chronicles, especially if Magnus Bane is your favorite character. He's certainly my favorite character in the entire Shadowhunter Chronicles world. Not all of the short stories in this are that good. Some of them are a little bit boring, but the last half of the book, the last half chunk of the stories, I think are well worth it. So yeah, for that alone, pick this up. And then last, I just read the Shadowhunters Codex. I don't think this really spoils much of anything. I think you definitely need to read the first 3 Mortal Instruments, because I think this doesn't spoil some things that happen in the first 3 books, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, just so you don't chance it, just read this after you read everything. You don't necessarily have to read this. This is strictly just more of a companion piece. It doesn't really provide anything new. This is definitely for die-hard fans. If you are just a casual reader of the series, this is probably going to be kind of boring to you. But I think die-hard fans, I think there's just a lot in here that you could really love and appreciate. You know, there's pages of what some of the runes look like. There's a lot of detailed history in here. So yeah, that's it for my thoughts and feelings on the Shadowhunter Chronicles. Like I keep saying, I love this series. Just so much fun from start to finish, pure entertainment. Definitely can't wait for the Dark Artifices series that is coming out, and then I think after that The Last Hours is coming out. The Shadowhunter world is forever continuing, forever. And I'm looking forward to all of the books in the future. So in the comments below, have you guys read the Shadowhunter Chronicles, and what are your thoughts and feelings? Just let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.